But are you still riding motocross now?
Yes. A bit less this year, but due to the weather, obviously. But I still do it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I just learned 2 years ago, actually.
What bike do you have?
KTM.
What?
2-stroke. 150 2-stroke.
152 stroke.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Eh?
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've ridden a bike like that. I mean, I haven't ridden the 152 stroke because back in the day and whenever it was a long time ago. It was like late 90s, I think, early 2000s. It was either like a YZ 125, so 125 two-stroke, and then they started bringing in the YZ 250F, for example. So it was like, but the 250F, the 4-stroke, was kind of the equivalent of the 125 two-stroke in a way.
In a way, it's a bit more smooth. The delivery power, it's a bit more easier. The 250, the 2-stroke are just a wild machine.
It's wild.
Just
dude.
a wild machine.
Yes.
I love it. And the sounds, the smell, no, it's just like insane. It's just like insane because I actually in the parking space here, no, my friend just just try, no, since few years I didn't ride a 2-stroke, no, because I always been passionate by the 2-stroke, no. I tried, I said, oh my God, because motocross I was not too much into it, but I just completely fall in love, no, with that just like wild, arrogant.
Yeah, and then the power band as well, right?
Insane.
But so where's the track? Is it close by here?
There are a few tracks around here. The cool one, it's 50 minutes from here. It's called Dixpol. There is another one in Mattinghofen, and they have different dirt, and but they are very cool. So not so big, but enough to really have fun and to be exhausted again after 2-3 laps. It's just done because they are so nervous. There is so much tension, and plus on top the delivery of the 2-stroke is something very hard to handle.
Jesus. And can you just show up at the track, or do you have to be a member and all that sort of stuff?
No, there are few tracks in which you have to be a member or private stuff, but the majority are just like you go there and that's it with your equipment, boom, done, that's it.
Super cool, dude. And how often are you riding?
Almost 1 time per week. Yeah. Last year we were going even in the Friday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, so 2 times per week was pretty cool. Now it's a bit more tricky, but at least once per week we try to go there. It's just like a way to hang out with the.
Dude, you're getting me all excited again now. I keep on jumping from like obsession to obsession, and recently it's been playing more guitar again. But
okay.
I was very tempted to buy a motorbike as well. At the start of the summer, I was so close. I almost bought a 401.
Okay.
The Svartpillen. I was very close, but in the end, my wife didn't. I don't know. She wasn't enthusiastic.
Okay.
And it's not that she stopped me, but she didn't. I was kind of. It's also my fault. I was being a little bit timid. I should have just done. If I wanted to do it, I should do it.
That's it.
I shouldn't look for validation, but I was looking for validation. In the end, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, Marcello, where did your passion for motorcycles start?
I think it's a family business.
Yeah.
No. In a way that my father, my brother, especially my older cousin, Daniele, they've been always obsessed by motorcycle in general, but mostly the mechanical part of them. No, so they are very good to fix stuff. Me, absolutely not. No, and still now. I mean, if you give me a screwdriver, I can even open nothing, zero. But they were they've been always passionate, so they just transfer me this passion. And I still remember actually the first time when all this old sickness, I will say, starts. No, we were very close to my own town in Monopoli. There was a racetrack called Autodromo del Levante, quite small, but I remember it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, golden hours with my parents. They just bring me there. I don't even know why, actually. But we ends up there and was completely empty, except for 2 motorcycle, 2-stroke, was one a 250 Aprilia, other one a RS 125, and I still remember really the sound and the smell of these bikes. No, they were like actually the son of the owner. They were actually riding over there, and I was a kid. I was like almost 8 years old, and I was just like pure fascinated by these bikes, and became since then my just priority in life sooner or later to get one of that. No, so the Aprilia 125 was at the time something. When you are 16 years old, you have already in your hands 34 horsepower, so something absolutely mental.
Yeah.
And I think that one was a milestone. Absolutely.
Did you ever get to the bottom of why your parents took you to that track on that day?
I have no idea. No idea. But maybe in that period, no, my brother was doing go-kart. I never been passionate by go-kart, actually. Never come to, nothing was moving. So I think they were looking for a bigger track for the where to use the go-kart, and we just ends up over there. And it was just like insane.
But you didn't get a bike at that time.
No. I was too young. No. I was too young. But actually, I get in contact with these two guys. So 10 years later, when I was kind of 18, 19 years old, with my cousin, Daniele, we went there for the first time. And for me, I experienced for the first time, the knee down, I would say, on the asphalt. Yeah.
Wow.
It was insane. And we met the guy and explained them, I'm in love with motorcycle because of you. No?
You told him, yeah.
And they were still there riding with the same motorcycle, because after I found out the owner was like a mechanic specialist, completely into it, and that was trying to find a financial resource to send the guy in a bigger and a most important championship, but they didn't have the chance, so they ends up doing all their life just like going around in the same track.
Wow.
But they were extremely fast guy.
I'm sure. I mean, especially if they're practicing there all the time.
Every day.
Wow.
Every day. Can you imagine?
Super cool.
Amazing.
And it was always kind of empty when you went there, or?
Yes, but I remember it was summer, so it was extremely hot condition. So that, and the racetrack was closing after 4 o'clock, but we ends up, I think, after 4 o'clock, so it was only for them. So you know what I mean? I can't even imagine. Yeah, entire track only for you.
Wow, crazy. That sounds magic, dude. So, at what point? When did you start were you always artistic?
I actually had always the passion for drawing, but in the high school I didn't do an artistic school. I would have loved to do that, kind of oil painting or live painting, charcoal, pencil. I was always fascinating. Still now, it's one of my dreams. I would like sooner or later to do a proper school, a proper course.
Yeah.
But I ended up in the high school scientific background, so nothing related to, it's the same things, because having a group of friends, where you're going, so just to be together, we ends up. Was actually a good school, but nothing related to really my passion. Actually, because
were your parents against it at all? Did they just not realize that you were artistically inclined?
I think both. I mean, I was not even so sure to go there, but I just felt that was my thing. I always loved to drawing, but again, I think it was more my mistake. I was just following the other friends. At that age you are a bit immature. You don't really know what to do, but. Again, I always felt that's a pity. It's a bit a regrets, I have to say. I would have loved.
Yeah, I had the same thing as well. At my high school there was the option to take an art class, but it was kind of like 80s, not 80s, but 80s parents anyway that had this mentality of take a useful subject like accounting or typing. That was actually a subject at my school. Yeah. In 2001, which is when I finished, you could still take a module called typing. I'm like, what the looking back on it now, it's just absolutely mental. And as a result, I didn't draw for 5 years at that period as well, because I think that those your teenage years are so formative. And I think that's where a lot of young people that are artistically inclined, that's where those skills elevate.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
It's a shame. So you didn't do anything in that period?
Absolutely not. I was kind of an hobby, to drawing, and that's a pity. Yeah. But I found out very late, that we're actually existing design school, and I think it's a common thing, because after the high school, it's hard to believe. I ended up doing for 2 times the exam to go and how to become a dentist. Medicine. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. A super passionate guy about motorcycle and drawing ends up doing an exam, because in Italy it's very difficult to enter in the university, So I said, what's happened over here?
But hold on a second. Explain the mindset of wanting to become a dentist. Me and my wife were talking about this the other day, and I said we were trying to think, like, why would you ever want to become a dentist? And I've got to be honest with you, I do remember being a teenager sitting in my dentist chair and thinking, like, oh, this guy's job's like, it's not, he's got this nice fresh office, because it was a nice surgery. And every time I come in here, obviously I'm still young, my teeth are still in great shape. And I come in here and he puts some toothpaste in my mouth and sprays it out, and, he's making money.
Yeah.
So what, like, obviously I never considered what 80-year-olds' teeth are going to look like, and doing root canals and pulling stuff out and whatnot.
Terrible.
So what was the thinking behind wanting to become a dentist?
I don't know, Sam. I think it's exactly the same reason why I ended up doing high school scientific. It's the same, because the majority of the friends that were going there, okay, boom. But at the end of the day, I lost 2 years, actually, because was in September. So after the high school, I studied all summer to prepare. There were like 1,000 people, close to my town in Bari. We did exam. Only 30 people were allowed. So this means another year I spent studying, to be prepared, but nothing happened. Also nice. And
was this like a parental thing, also pressure, like you should become a dentist, doctor, a lawyer, or
actually, we don't even have doctor, in the family. So it's just like, again, pure. I was just like following, the group. But at one point I said, "Hey guys, hold on, that's it. Now, I have to," because I found out, this design school in Turin were actually existing. So I said, okay, you can really do that. So it was like a light in the tunnel,
How did you find out about it? Do you remember?
There was like I remember in the university still, because after that I did mechanical engineering 1 year, actually. After all the medicine try, I said, okay, maybe a way to fulfill my full passion is to go through mechanical engineering, in the university, because I didn't know, I was not sure that holding just a pencil could open the door, to design. Actually, I had no idea at the time. So for me, the only way to go through, motorcycle or car, I would say, to get this kind of job was through mechanical engineering. And I remember at the time I was there, and there was a guy from EAAD, it's the other school in Yad, exactly, in Turin, and was another mega important moment. He was spinning around in his computer in Creo, I remember, a Ducati 999, model. And I get closer to him. I said, hold on. What's that? It's something related to mechanical? No, actually not. We are here from Turin to make a workshop, to let the people know about even this stuff. I said, wow, okay, insane. So I remember I just was like July, something like that. And I still remember I came back home and I said to my parents, guys, hold on, that's it. I have to go there. So I went to the internet to find a few information about, there was a YED and YAD, there are still now, so the two school. And I knew that in September, so there was kind of a workshop, open for students. It was like a beginning of September. So I still remember the conversation with my parents. We said, I mean, it's risky because obviously it was a private school. So I knew it was like a responsibility, even from my side, but I was like in a point in which I can deal anymore. No, I have absolutely fulfilled the passion. So we come out kind of an agreement. Okay, but first go there, take a look about the school, how it is. No, how do you feel? And after I pack everything, I just like jump in on the train. It took 12 hours to arrive to Turin from South Italy, and I spent 3 days over there doing a workshop. It was just like amazing. It was just like absolutely amazing.
And was it difficult to get in?
In YED, you mean?
Yes.
Actually not, because I mean was kind of open. So there was a certain number of people, but was actually open. Was from that kind of point of view was absolutely fine. Yeah.
And around this time, are you sketching a lot? Have you now picked it up again and you are doing this obsessively, or?
Was not obsessively at the time, but I was still sketching. But I mean, in during the workshop, was the first time, that I really see there was like few guys over there putting in perspective car, basic things, and they were asking, okay, just draw the first things, that you would like. I was ends up in doing obviously motorcycle a little bit. I'm still now obsessed with the truck, and tractors. I always love this kind of object or boat. So, and they really was like really free sketching. So they were like teaching basic perspective rule, but was really 3 days to get into the school, what you can do in the school. There were guys that were explaining about their own experience, so it was really helpful, was amazing. And after that, of course, I come back home to the guy to convince to go there, but it worked out.
But and you are never at any given point, you never tempted by automotive at all.
There was actually the course automotive, yeah.
But you were focused. You were like, I want to design motorcycles. You knew that.
Actually, at the beginning, yes. But in Turin, you can decide after 1 year if to go. The course was called BYT, so bike, yacht, and train design, or just continuing for transportation, automotive. And since there were not so many people in the BYT, so I just decided to go in the automotive, and was kind of because I always thought the skill in any case they will teach you the same skill, but I could do still on my side a bit of motorcycle, but mostly focus on car, So, but was good actually to continue into automotive course, yeah.
After you finish that course,
yeah,
what's happening? Are you applying for internships? Are you getting internships? How's that going?
So actually, at the end of the master degrees, I remember was in July. We present our stuff. So, and have been approached me and other guy by few of the big company. And one of them asked us to me and other 3 guys to prepare kind of a small project. They give us only 1 week, And at the time I was mega excited. So, whoa! I just finished the school. They already contacted me. Okay, wow, So they give us only 1 week, and they took all summer, actually before to decide if there was a chance for an internship. And I remember when I opened the phone was kind of September, end of August, and on the mail the subject was you got the internship, no? So I said, wow, it was just like amazing. It was just like amazing, no? But it ends up in a really, I would say, was not really good internship, actually.
So what happened at this internship?
Happened that really the level was very intimidating, no? You know, young guy after the school, you just jump in this studio. The level was just like extremely high. I was actually intimidating, no? And I realized I was not able to express completely myself. So it ends up that after 3 months, they say, Marcello, sorry, boom, that's it. The internship is actually, it's gone. So
that's brutal, huh?
Was really brutal.
Jesus.
Was really hard time. No, in which you just have to accept that you just failed. You know, I just accept as a fail. It was extremely complicated for me even to tell, no, to the friends, no, from the university. Because they were all working, they were still working over there, so I feel so embarrassed. It was really
at the same place, or were
no.
At various other places.
We were very in contact. Yes, so for me, I felt really embarrassed. No, so it was really hard time, and I spent over there the first 3 months, and I spent over there other 4 or 5 months, more or less. So
in total or after?
In total,
okay.
After,
wow.
no?
Okay.
And I was over there that I actually realized, okay, you know what? You have to accept the fail. It's really mentally, physically, I was just like broke down. Completely finished. And it was even hard for me to call to my parents to say, hey guys, you know what? Yeah, was pretty difficult. Was pretty complicated.
How did they take it? What?
I was fired on the 1st February 2013, and actually the 1st February was the birth of my mother. So, so now it's funny, but in that moment, I remember I called her to say, "Hey, happy birthday!" But I was so broke. I just like was hard call, and. But I decided by myself to continue to stay there, no, because I didn't decide to go back, no, to my place. Was really helpful, no, to really understand what's happened, the way even to understand what you actually wants, Marcello. No, I asked to myself, okay, interior design or car design is what actually you want to do, or it's just like it's the time to say, okay, motorcycle and that's it, no? So actually helped quite a lot. So I find a kind of motivation, energy. I transform kind of this mega negative emotion, mindset in something that really pushed me, no? So I spent from February until July, more or less, I think June was it, a portfolio only for motorcycle.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So in this moment, you recognize like, I have to stop everything and reevaluate and think carefully, like, what do I really want to do?
Yeah. Was hard time. But in that exactly moment, when I finished the portfolio, no, I had kind of I was starting to be active, you know, was the beginning of Instagram, Facebook, no, I was posting on Pinterest, no, so okay, let's now post a few things, no, in terms to how can I say, to find a job, no, and of course, since the school top list was Kiska, no, and a few other brands, but it ends up that I send over the portfolio. This is another story that it took me 7 interviews and 2 years before to get the job.
But 7 interviews here?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, Jesus, 7 interview. Right. 7 interview.
Okay.
So from at the beginning, I had the interview from June until August. We was like the last one was in August, no, with Sebastiano. Was a funny one, was a really funny one. I didn't get the internship over there, but I still remember I was presenting all the stuff, and I was on my paper was like with to remind to myself how to describe the project and the stuff. So it was really funny because he was asking me something related to the project, and I was answering just like reading what I already prepared before. It was just like pretty, I would say, funny, not very professional, let's say.
That's. Are you talking now about the very first interview?
The first interview, yes.
Okay.
One of the first interview.
But hold on a second. Before we get into the rest of those 7 interviews, did you? I read something that you went and studied further.
Yes, because in that summer, actually, I didn't find a job. So the intention was to get a job in Kiska.
Okay, so you were hoping to get a job here and it didn't work out.
But was another period in which very difficult because, you were sending portfolio over there. You are trying to have a bit of visibility, and didn't happen. So I ended up at the beginning of September, that was not actually a chance to work. But I received in that period an email by SPD, a school. There was an opportunity for a scholarship over there. So I went in Milan over there to meet the guy, to understand exactly where I met Michele, and they were like offer me a scholarship. So I said, okay. I was doubting at the beginning. I'm not so sure again to restart.
Because you've not only studied already, but did you do a master's at IAD as well? Sorry, IAD?
IAD? No. I just did the 3 years in transportation in IAD. And after I had actually the internship, so in that summer, they contact me, offering me a scholarship. So, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's accept it. Of course, my dream was to get into design studio, so to start to work as soon as possible. But was cool. Was a very good, cool experience in Milan.
I think when I was finishing up university, there was a lot of us in hindsight, but skills were just not where they should have been. And there were a few students that went on to do masters at places like either Pforzheim or RCA or whatever the case is. And you could see there was a real elevation in skills. And others felt like, I've just spent 4 years on my course. I'm completely exhausted. I put everything into it. It's nowhere, and I want to get a job now. End of story. But I think there's an important lesson there to realize that when your skills are just not where they need to be. Yeah. And I think it sounds like it was a hard pill to swallow, but you realize like maybe I need to still put more work in.
Absolutely, yes. And I think even because I think 3 years, I have to be honest, are not enough. Should be at least 5 years really to fulfill, because the first 3 years, in my opinion, you can get the base, really the basic skill, Photoshop, a bit of 3D and sketch, even be able to do brainstorming, to really get into it. But another 2 years for me should be it's what is missing actually, because other school offer this kind of system. You have the 5 years, so the first 3 years you study, and in the last 2 years you have to find a kind of internship, in the middle, and at the end you can get your degree. So imagine after an internship you go back to school that you are much more confident, and this one I think was missing. Yeah.
So what would you say you gained out of that period at SPD, for example?
Was different actually from the 3 years in Turin. What was cool about in SPD was extremely intense. So we had like few project, very important project, sponsor, of course, at the time with Seat and Volkswagen. So the senior designer were coming in, so you get in contact with this guy. So we were almost felt like a project like at work, no? So in which you have to follow 3D since the beginning, ideation, sketch, clay, concept, no? Everything. So it was pretty cool, I have to say. But 1 year to condensate a full project was not really, looks like a lot, but at the same time it's pretty short.
Yeah.
Because there is visualization after, so was pretty complete.
And in terms of like just like sketching, for example, would you say your level was already there, or did that help elevate it as well?
Obviously help quite a lot. Even Photoshop, so there was like several class for sketching, for rendering. So at the end of the story, 3 + 1 year, no, from I just felt, no, I had good basis, let's say, no, good skill, no, for express, I would say, because Photoshop is something that needs time, no,
yes.
even to get you. I always been much more comfy with pencil, no, very old school, one marker, pencil, white paper, and that's it.
But dude, this for me is what like Leonello specifically is brilliant at, and you see, there's so much soul in just what he's doing with a pencil.
Just a pencil.
Even without the marker, you know, just the pencil. It's just, there's so much emotion. Everything is where it needs to be. Like, he's really mastered that. And I think to have somebody like that on a course, I think he's left now, as I understand it.
Okay.
But I mean, to be able to have somebody like that at your disposal, I know he's a pretty intense dude, but I think to have somebody like that at your disposal to say, like, you know, how it's
super inspiring.
Yeah.
And this happened especially in Turin. This was absolutely amazing because we had in Turin the class starting from 7 o'clock until night, no? Why that? Because all the teachers were like actually designer that was like going out from the studio, no? They were going to the school. So we get in contact. This is really was just like an amazing, no? You get in contact with the really designer, no? Super inspired, very different character, very different approach. I remember one of most important for me that really was super inspiring is Andrea Lo, you know, another guy with just like one pencil, one marker, and a white paper was just like transfer into it so much emotion, no? In that case, you ask to yourself, why I should use Photoshop of 3D? It's all there, no? The really, you know, the motion, no? The line, and I think it's pretty. I can say it's very, very Italian, no? This kind of approach, and I'm super glad and happy that still they teach the basic with pencil before to jump in Photoshop.
I think a lot of places are starting to, I mean, there's always, I think with certain design managers, there's always and always will have appreciation for it. There was this period where Photoshop was like really glorified.
Yeah.
And there's a time and a place for it. I think now a great sketch seems to be like having a resurgence almost in value. There's obviously a whole big Blender movement as well where kids are not sketching at all. But I think like with that comes this appreciation for sometimes the humble sketch that is missing. Yeah. And for me, it's the best. Like if you can, like a great sketch where everything's sitting right with great line work, and it doesn't always have to be this perfect thing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes there are like sketches with real soul that are technically not perfect, and those are also for me beautiful. I love those.
No, I totally. I'm really still now, for example, wherever project we have to do, wherever phase in the project, I always start with just like with paper. It's just like you forget about perspective and stuff, how they looks like, just like the idea, no? Just like the stomach, it's just like the first feeling that you got. It's absolutely important to see in with a pen or pencil or marker. And it's just like, even when I Google, no, when I just find for inspiration, unconscious, I'm just attracted by the pencil sketch. Like when you see portfolio of guy, no, nowadays, as you said, with the Blender base or Photoshop, you never know how much time get to arrive to a certain level to the rendering.
Yeah.
It's much more honest. You can see how much time is spent with a pencil sketch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And and you know what, nowadays I have to say there's not that many designers that are that great at that thing. You know, there was a guy that I sat next to at Bugatti many years ago, or a few years ago. Neil Sayons is his name. And the stuff that he was putting out was just, it was some of the best stuff that I've seen. I mean, him, and there's another guy, Jascha Straub, as well, who's now working in, I don't know, another completely different division within the company. But still, those two guys for me, he would sit down next to you and with no underlay, nothing, take a Prismacolor and just bang out this piece of art.
Yeah.
And before I left, he actually did a sketch for me with the South African flag. It was a side view of a Devo with the South African flag on the bottom instead of the French flag. Super cool. But he's just like, yeah, cool, I'll do your sketch. And like 10 minutes later, he's like, there you go.
Boom,
you know?
that's it.
Amazing.
How
Absolutely
much is the
amazing.
value of that stuff, no?
It's for me, it's invaluable, you know. And I think like Wojtek was saying something really interesting as well. Like, you know, just talking about, for him, he's using it like to, sometimes it's a subconscious thing right in the beginning, just to get the movement going. But like he largely uses it as to really try and work something out, you know, to really say like, okay, we've got this transition and we need to go into this vent over here. And then the byproduct of that is of that problem solving is all these different sketches, and you look at it and you go like, amazing, you know. And I think that there's sometimes this confusion, or there's something. It was confusing for me definitely at university when the tutor's saying, yeah, you need to produce like at least 50 or 100 sketches to get to this point. And then what a lot of kids end up doing is they eventually create something that they like, and then they go, okay, cool, that's the final thing. They put it on the side, and then they go, no, but the teacher said to me, or the tutor said to me, I need to have a bunch of development sketches. And then they just, you know, just to jump through the hoops. They're not, and this is a subject that you can talk about indefinitely as well, because there's so many different approaches to this well, and to get to that stage where that you're talking about, where you just are where you can just sit down and basically extract what's there onto paper, and for it to look great, that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you've got to produce a lot of crap to get to that stage.
And you have to have even a correct mindset, because what I love about the pencil and the paper, you don't have to turn on the screen things, so you have to get used to you just go directly over that. It's very instinct, it's all about that, nothing that could distract you so much, so. And again, it's just like mesmerizing when you see really a cool sketch, but even more when the object represented by just like a pencil of my marker, you says, whoa, that is cool, that are very different things. One thing is to do a nice sketch, another thing is to do a really nice object, So, and that's why Photoshop, yes, is good, of course, the digital, but you lost a little bit, You can be able to master. Obviously, there are a lot of examples. Nowadays, you just go Instagram, Pinterest. There are millions of examples of people that master photos very, very, very well. But even in that case, I'm fascinated by when the Photoshop is very rough. is not completely clean, defined, in which you can really see the lines, not just like the act of drawing. But there are so many examples. Depends, from person to person.
And
mindset.
I think it also gets down. Like this is, I was talking to Alan the other day about this as well, and I think it comes down to taste as well. What you prefer, what you like, because you can't really say like, oh, this guy's the best sketcher in the world, because you might go, well, I don't really like that sort of thing. I prefer ink and a bit of light marker. Somebody else might really like pencil, or you might like pencil but you like the way that this guy uses just a normal pen. So it's a subjective thing as well, and that's also a beautiful thing about design as well, that
the diversity.
But it's equally can be confusing for somebody starting out, knowing like what is acceptable and what is not. Like in the beginning, you are taught, like you've got to, you mentioned earlier on or in your bio about the fact that like, I think your dad was doing a lot of technical drawings, and this was something that you always liked, a more free and rough approach.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in the beginning, you are taught like you need to strive for like, very perfect ellipses and like single strokes and all that sort of stuff. And that is beautiful in its own right. But there's also something about a sketch that's got more soul and emotion and whatever. And it can be a bit confusing in the beginning when you're starting out, knowing like what's acceptable. And what's acceptable, and like what's the difference between have a sketch with a bit of soul and just something that's a bit rubbish,
precise.
That's but it's great. It's and I think that's the invaluable thing of stepping into a studio for the first time, because you get to see, okay, this guy does it like that. This guy does it like that. They're completely different, but they're both great, and they both have personality.
Absolutely.
But you get to see behind the curtain. So I guess that's probably, you got a lot, as heartbreaking as that first internship experience was. You obviously got to see behind the curtain, and you kind of know where I should be striving for.
Exactly the point. That you was saying. Because in each studio, I think at the time I remember, specific in that one, there were people sketching only with pencil, not even Photoshop, but still presenting final stuff. There were like a monster of Photoshop, or who was doing a 3D base and sketch. So each one of them has their own way to do it. And when you face for the first time, what actually I should do? I should present pencil.
That's what I'm talking about. That can be a confusing thing, right?
And was a factor, actually. I was not even able to understand how and which one, which kind of tool, how I could sell better. I was, how can I say, more comfy with the pencil, but we don't have to forget that in the school to do a Photoshop, you have much more time. In the design studio, not. So I said, if I now do a pencil sketch, is it serious enough to be presented, or I should put over Photoshop? But I knew that to make it a nice photo, I could have spent so much time. So all that confusion, not self-confidence, or what I should do, what is right, it just like make it, a fail, basically.
But you know what? It's this thing of confidence and not knowing and whatever. This is I think a natural part of that stage of your career. The first time setting into an environment like that, a professional environment, and not inside the school. But I also think that a lot of companies fail on a lack of mentorship and taking the intern or the junior designer under the wing and saying, listen, dude, everything's going to be all right. Don't stress about it. This over here that you've done here is really good. If you did this for the presentation, it's going to be okay.
It's okay.
You're going to be all right. And that immediately is going to give you the confidence to get up there and stand up and say, this is my idea. And subconsciously it is good enough, And I think that's a really important thing, to do as a company in any team, to take the new guy, the junior guy or girl under their wing and say, it's going to be all right.
Absolutely. Because we don't have to forget that the same guy that, at the beginning could struggle, if you don't help, it's still a human being, you know what I mean? So you have somehow you have to help, no? Because if you help even in a right way, this guy could succeed, no? So could grow up.
Absolutely. That is the key thing, right? Is that, you could be sitting next to this new intern, could be like a future monster.
Exactly.
And if you don't let that person be comfortable enough and you don't do everything you can to let them fully blossom, it's a wasted opportunity, not just for the person, but for the company and the team.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't understand companies and people that are they've got a lack of empathy, and it drives me insane, and I don't know why.
And we don't have to forget it's a small world. So the same guy, you could end up be a colleague after 5-6 years, no?
Yeah.
And
the guy that that might be able to be in a position to give you a job in the future.
Exactly. Exactly. You never know.
You never know. You never know. So Marcello, moving on, so let's get into these the rest of these 7 interviews to get over here. So the first interview you don't get, you go back home disheartened because it's kind of like another letdown, and
yes.
And then you end up going to SPD.
Yes.
And it's by and large a very positive experience. After SPD, what's happened?
Again, few interview, another 2 interview with Kiska, but at the time still not ready. So was no again. And I actually had the opportunity to find finally a first job, no? After, all the period, all the background and experience in Benelli, actually, no, motorcycle. So was after the SPD. So I get in contact with this company. Benelli is one of the most historical brand and it's located in Pesaro. It's an amazing, beautiful area on the seaside, very close to 1 hour more or less from Bologna, Modena, so the typical motor valley of Italy, no? And it was like an amazing experience. I spent there 1 year, 6 months kind of internship, and 6 months after they give me a junior position, basically.
What is working in an environment like that like with such a, you said it like quite a limited in the amount of people, right?
Yes, was we were actually in two persons. So it was the Stefano Casanova that was like the director of the design, and only me. And the time they were starting to hire other people that they came few months later. But at the beginning we were only me, him, and other 2 guys from the CTG department.
And are there modelers as well working with you?
Yes, engineering modeler, but was starting to. This machine was working again, I would say. No, it was like before that was a bit a bad period for them. But when I came there, was like starting was moving again, and was another amazing experience because you get in contact with the mechanic people that were like using to work in a super bike, so department. Wow. You just get in contact with this just like super passionate people with the tons, years, decades of experience. So you are there, junior motorcyclist starting to sketch and something, and they were like super helpful. I really learned a lot over there. It was amazing experience. And the landscape over there is just like amazing.
Is it really? Yeah.
It's super cool. And the food too. quite.
But isn't that
Yeah.
the case with the whole of Italy? Good food and beautiful landscape,
Yeah,
nice people.
Yeah. And even, I mean, I still remember I was working, in Pesaro, no? And there was like a few garage owned by old mechanic, and they were like, one day they were revving one of the most ultra rare bike. It was called Benelli says it was a 6-cylinder. It was just like revving in the middle of the road, no? And there were like 4 or 5 guys, more or less 60, 70 years old, no? This is all about the spirit, no? They were just like looking at the bike, no? This team spirit around, just like speaking. They invite me to come in the garage. It was very small, so you get in contact with this kind of personality. And one of them was a mechanic for Benelli, so you can really breathe this passion. No, it's amazing, really amazing. Was really amazing.
So at the end of that, what happens? How do you end up making that transition?
So when I was in Benelli, I sent again, no, for the third time, the portfolio to Kiska, and I still remember the email from Sebastian in which he said, "Okay, now finally, after 2 years, you can come over here and we can have an interview," because I was always doing the interview remotely. That was actually fine, because in 7 interview I met all the people almost in Kiska. So when I came here was like November, and was like finally was amazing. No, we had an interview and they actually offered me the position, because I was chasing Kiska since long time. No, I was always been in love when I was a student. No, by the sketch on Simcom. No, this on the website. So at the beginning there were like this sketch of KTM, side view or cluster detail, and you said, okay, what's that? No, what's that? No, again they were pencil sketch with a few marker, no, and I said, wow, no, I was like completely in love with the style. After I get I was researching, to understand what they were doing, no. So for me it was like a place that I have to go there. So I was chasing them since long time, but after the 2 November, I remember they offered me the position. So
wow.
Yeah, November 2015. Yeah.
There is, for me, a lesson over there is like, number one, persistence. So, i.e., don't give up. But there's a difference between being persistent and being a pest and not doing the work. So, you kept coming back, but every time you came back, you had done something new again, right?
Yeah.
So you had constantly bettered yourself. You've gone to SBD. After SBD, you then go and work at Benelli, and then eventually Sebastian, whoever else, decided, well, I can actually see an improvement here, and he clearly wants to be here, so I'm gonna give him a chance.
And was exactly so. Looking back, you say, okay, bad experience, you go back to the school, but each one of that experience helped, no, because I was still keep updating the portfolio, because I always had an automotive, so a car design portfolio. So I built by my own, this motorcycle portfolio. So I remember each one of the SPD after Benelli, especially Benelli, helped quite a lot, even to inject a bit of technicality, into the sketch. So
well, yeah, that's the thing. You're not building. The thing to remember here is that you're not building from scratch every time. You're not starting from scratch every time. You're building on your existing experience and knowledge and skill set every single time. And that's why ultimately it sounds everything there's nothing is a waste of time except maybe dentist school.
That one, yes, definitely yes.
You got nothing out of that experience.
Absolutely anything, nothing. Just embarrassing to say I lost 2 years following these kind of things.
But didn't you even get to like sculpt some teeth or something like that? There's a bit of 3D
maybe
practice.
An artistic approach, but Sam, what we are talking about? Yeah.
So, dude, so what was your what was do you remember the first thing that you worked on when you came here?
Yes, was the 401 Aero.
That's the first project.
Yes.
My God.
Yes. You have to imagine I was coming here with expectation, again, after the experience, I was a little bit more careful, because was still for me Kiska intimidating. I knew the level, it was just is super, super high. But I just find another kind of atmosphere, another kind of attitude, another kind of people
to deal with that.
That really, really, really helped quite a lot. And a lot of people, so fascinating, the mega creative guy who was already the leader, so different personality, different culture, so there are more than 35 different nationality over there. So for me as an Italian with my English, you came there, you said, okay, good morning. And was just amazing because they after 3 months they come out with this kind of briefing. It was at the time the 401 era, and was so lucky because since the beginning I was working for Husqvarna. So for me, I always been in love with Husqvarna design, Husqvarna sketch. So I said, wow, finally something really, really, really insanely good is happening, that you can really feel, you can touch, you feel part of it, And the first one was the 401 Aero. Yeah.
What was that project like working on it? What was it? Were you working with somebody else on it, or was it?
Definitely.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. At the time, of course, all the project. I was at the time a junior motorcycle designer. So without obviously the leader with the leadership of other people, I would have not. You need a kind of help of support, obviously. But the whole story was amazing because at the beginning was just sketching, I didn't feel that really something would have faced clay and stuff, but we ended up 6 months later that was show in a ICMA, So you know what I mean? It was just a
dream come true.
Was just a dream come true. It was just
Can you explain to me a little bit about what that project is about? Was it just a concept bike?
Was a concept bike based obviously on the 401. So the idea was really to bring something that had a bit of taste for the retro taste, but treated in a typical modern the approach that is Husqvarna. So what is very interesting about this bike is that it's still naked bike, but it's half ferret. It's not completely ferret.
That's true. Yes.
And another cool things that was pretty, I would say, challenging is the fact to balance, because the 401 is very short bike. It's very, very short, And if you take a look, the fairing is almost 50% of the overall of the overall
it changes
body.
The proportion.
It changed completely the proportion, and we ends up dealing with a volume that it was so fascinating. It's something very, very low, very, very long. That reminds something from the past, but it's something very, very modern. Very, very new. And for me, again. Of course, thanks to the help of the guy over there to reach and to be able to work on clay, to really touch this kind of things, not just sketching, was just a very important formative experience. Really, the first time that I saw actually from a sketch, from a render, actually when we milled down, it was just okay, wow, okay, just wow, and you are just so happy. You are
And
just so happy.
clearly, this time around, compared to your formative internship, the experience was a lot better.
Was it?
And you felt a lot more confident.
Absolutely, yes.
Is that why do you think that is? Is that down to the experience that you've had along the way, or?
I think it was a mix for sure. The experience helps a lot even to approach in a different way, the work. And as always says, the study is made by people. So the attitude, the way they treat you, I mean, we already discussed, was different, much more different. I just find an amazing environment, that make me super comfy into it, and I was able to express myself since the beginning, and it's something that I appreciate because even more due to the bad experience that I have in the past. So definitely the human factor helped quite a lot. It's a game changer.
Speaking of human factors,
yeah.
If we zoom out a second,
yeah.
and look at the whole timeline,
yeah.
That moment where you got let go from your first internship and you feel like a total failure and life is not working out for me and it's all a total disaster. You end up going back to school, moving to a different town. And what happens in your personal life when you...
Exactly. I mean, I get married. Obviously, I met, in Milan, where I met actually my wife, So at the end of the story, if no one would have given me a scholarship, I would not, for sure, ends up, in Milan. I would have not met, my wife. So...
but even prior to that, if you had not been fired from that first internship, you probably wouldn't have ended up there anyway.
Maybe, but I mean, it's part of life. You have just to accept. But
right.
The most important things for me, it's something to say. You can accept the fail. When you fail again, when you are really completely broke, you have to accept. You have just to take out of that the best positive energy. It's very little at the beginning. It's super hard. It's extremely hard, but you can find actually an energy. And if I have to say that bad experience completely opened my mind, and as I said, I want to do motorcycle. That's it. And was really the first moment in which actually I realized, And it took me, of course, a bit of time, but 7 interview and all the stuff. But after, I mean, I can say, that's it.
There's a powerful lesson in there. To quote the Rolling Stones, because I normally end up using my music analogy, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Marcello, any parting wisdom for young people wanting to become motorcycle designers in this now shifting landscape as well? Because a lot of OEMs are doing electric stuff. I know you guys are looking into that as well.
Yeah.
What advice would you like to give?
Just keep working, sketching. Just find your own way to make it. If it's a pencil, if it's a Photoshop, if you find out that you actually love, maybe I would say the 3D. Why not? Actually, there are a lot of things that you can use to arrive to design actually a motorcycle. So as we said, the bad experience could be a formative experience, but above all have to be passion, a really, really, really strong passion, and don't be broke. I mean, if something bad happen, especially in the period, it's pretty complicated, but keep going. Absolutely. Just like keep going. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Marcello, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.